Hello everyone, my name is David and today I'm going to record this video named How the Immune System Actually Works. Let's get started. The human immune system is the most complex biological system we know after the human brain, and yet most of us never learn how it works. Or what is it? Your immune system consists hundreds of tiny of two large organs. It has its own transport network and it's spread throughout the body. Every day, it makes hundreds of billions of fresh organized cells like an army with soldiers, captains, intelligent officers, heavy weapons, crazy suicide bombers. But not some sort of abstract entity. Your immune system is you. Your biological is protecting you from billions of microorganisms that wants to consume you, and your own perverted cells that could turn into cancer. It's so manifold that it's impossible to cover in one video, so we'll make a series looking at different aspects of it. Today, what happens when your body is invaded and your first lines of defense are engaged and fight for life and death. It's been a normal day when suddenly the world explodes and an asteroid rips the sky open. Countless alien life forms invade, ready to destroy cities and infrastructures and eat civilians. Well, this is what your cells experience. You look at your bleeding thumb that you just cut on a tree twig at your park. How annoying. But inside, a wound is a horrible catastrophe has appeared. There are dead cells, blood, and dirt everywhere. Even worse, countless bacteria invade and warm caverns between your helpless cells to explore the new homes, steal your resources, and poop everywhere. Immediately, the first line of the defense kicks in. Your cells that survive the impact are hurt or dying screams in panic, releasing an onslaught of chemical alarm signals that awake your immune system. The first cells to show off are macrophages. If an average cell would be the size of a human, a macrophage would be the size of a black rhino. A solid cells in principle, but you won't want to annoy it. Bacteria do annoy them. Within seconds, the large cell attack and begin killing them without mercy. They stretch out parts like arms like octopus and grab the bacteria to swallow and digest them whole alive. Macrophage can eat 100 bacteria before it exhausted, but there are too many enemies, so the macrophages cause for reinforcements. In your blood, hundreds of thousands of neutrophils pick up the signals and move to the battlefield. Neutrophils are intense suicide warriors that only live to kill. They are associated about killing that they kill themselves after a few days after birth, so they don't have time to accidentally destroy your body from the inside. As soon as neutrophils arrive, they begin vomiting deadly chemicals at bacteria or devour them. They are so careless in their attacks that they are causing real damage to your own cells, but their collateral damage is not their concern now or ever. Some neutrophils go so far to push the suicide button and explode, casting a wide and toxic net made from their own DNA and filled with deadly chemicals that trap and kill bacteria. Sometimes they continue fighting after that, even though they are sort of dead already. This is how much fun they have killing. While the battle rages, your blood vessels let fluid steam into the battlefield like a dam opening towards the valley. You notice this as inflammation. Your thumb swells up a little bit and gets red and warm. The fluids bring a silent killer into a battle zone. Millions of complex proteins, a sort of automated liquid weapon that stuns and kills bacteria by ripping holes into them. We made a whole video explaining them in detail. We are reaching the crossroads now. If things go well, the first lines of defense kill the invaders quickly, but sometimes the enemies are too strong and would overwhelm their defenses actually. which means certain death for you, the human. This is the hour of the dendritic cells, your immune system intelligence officer. While your soldier is bashing its heads, it was collecting samples by ripping bacteria into tiny parts and covering itself into it. Like a soldier decorating itself with guts of a dead enemy. The cells leave the battlefields and enters the superhighway of your immune system that connects your tissues with your immune headquarters, your lymph nodes. The dendritic cells is coming from the battlefield. Is looking for a helper T cell, which is the sort of all-purpose commander cells within your immune army, but not any helper T cell. One of it has just the right weapon for the bacteria infected your wound, so it goes around and rubs itself, still covered in bacteria parts, against every helper T cell it meets. And most T cells are a bit disgusted and not interested, but after a few hours, something clicks. A helper T cells recognize the bacteria parts. This cell is the weapon that is needed right now. The dendritic cells is overjoyed and it activates the helper T cell. Okay, wait. How come your immune system has a cell that has a weapon against every specific bacteria that infected you? Well, your immune system has a perfect weapon against every possible disease in the universe. Against the Black Death, the coronavirus, or infections that will emerge in Mars 100 years from Mars. We'll talk a bit more in the next video because it's a bit more complex. But for now, just know that you have billions of unique helper T cells that have a weapon against every possible enemy. After the right T cell activates, your second line of defense awakes, and it rises like a teenager that needs to get up on a school day, very slowly. Your heavy weapons are incredibly effective, but they're not fast. The activated helper T cells begin to clone itself over and over again. One becomes two becomes four, until there are thousands of them. Now they split into two groups. The first group quickly moves to help out your soldiers. At the battlefield, things are getting out of hand. Tired macrophages are ready to give up. After fighting for days, they just want to go to sleep like many of its buddies have done already. But now the helper T cells arrive. One of them comes to the tired macrophages and whispers something using special chemicals. In a heartbeat, demoralized soldiers feel fresh again. But there's something else, a hot white anger. A macrophage needs to know what to do. Kill. Invigorated, it throws itself against enemy once again. At the battlefield, this begins to happen. Meanwhile, the second group of helper T cells was working on activating another line of defense, B cells, your antibody factories. Antibodies are protein super weapons that look like tiny crabs with two pinners to grab enemies. Just like the helper T cells, there are B cells in your body that are able to make just the right antibody for every possible enemies. And the helper T cells look exactly these B cells. After a day or two, the right B cells found begins to clone itself. As soon as enough clones have been made, each B cells begin pumping out up to 2,000 antibody per second. About a week after you injure yourself and the bacteria invaded, your second line of defense finally arrives at full force. The tiny army begins to saturate the battlefield, pinching and stunning desperate bacteria. The antibody clamped them together to make them unable to move or fight, while the soldiers massacre these defenseless victims. The tide is turning fast. As the last enemies are cleaned, your soldiers realize they are no longer needed and begin to kill themselves to save resources. But not all of them. A few helper T cells slay remains and turn into memory cells. They will guard for tissues for years, making sure the same bacteria will never gain a foothold in here. Similarly, a few B cells will stay alive, keep producing low amounts of antibodies, making you immune against this bacteria for the rest of your life. One day, you wake up and notice that your wound has grown over. It left nothing but a faint red mark. You're completely unaware of the drama yourself has to deal with. For you, the whole deal was a slight annoyance. Well, for millions of cells, it was a desperate fight for life and death. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.